like maybe right there by the middle, and then you're gonna do the pledge. Okay?
You do. Can I start saying it? Say it loud.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good job. Miss Tommy, you're welcome to stay, but you don't have to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
All right, approval of the agenda or any questions about last month's minutes? Or, I mean, the agenda, any changes to the agenda?
I will make the motion to approve.
I'll second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Public comment? All right, admin reports, Ms. Charlene, business.
I guess the only thing I have to report is, budget adjustment. We've got, increase in our rate for the year. So that's normally used for after school tutoring for teachers and any extra. Since it's not much this year, it used up quick. And the other ones are just some adjustments for my salaries. Not many. That's We
Any
went
questions?
to Nashville last week to Albuquerque. It was unusual.
How was that?
It was okay. Yeah. Some of it's repetitive, but most times new stuff's coming in.
Any questions?
Did we hire a teacher?
Did we hire a teacher?
Uh-huh.
The administrators will give a report on that.
Okay.
All right.
I don't want to take that away from them.
Moving on.
4K roofing completed repairs on the high school gym, locker room, and concession stand. And then White Rock Construction gave us a quote for the soffit repair for the back of the gym for locker rooms for $10,176.72. They are also going to build a building extension for the new cafeteria soft water softener due to the not enough room in the mechanical room. I have some LED canopy lights ordered to install in front of the cafeteria to make it safer for the cafeteria ladies when they come in early mornings before the sun up. I noticed the high school gym lights weren't coming on the outside, so I traced that down today, and it was a bad photo sensor. So that's repaired, and then I got a troubleshoot my ghost gate over by the cafeteria. It's not working, so I'll get on that this week. We're halfway through preparing the football field with 2 more games left. We got our white bus back to running. I ordered a alternator from Amazon for a little less than $500, which beat the heck out of the price that Tillery was wanting for $5,000. And we got it put on last Thursday, I guess, so it's back to going.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you. Special ed.
Hi, everybody. It's good to be back. Sorry I missed last month. All right, wonderful world of special ed. We started the year, we had 95 kids with an IEP or a 504 at the school presently. No late evals, no late IEPs. We're fully staffed with services through the REC. Beginning of the year stuff, we've started our got some partners in ed that we work with. We're part of the consortium called the SWTT Southwest Transition Team. They help us with post-secondary education and resources, post-secondary employment resources. We started our Bridge Success group here in Chaves County. We have an MOU with Los Pasitos and Mecca. And they help with our transition from early childhood to non-early childhood education. We have our MOU with them. We signed all of our paperwork and MOU with the local DBR office out at Roswell, Division of Oak Rehab. They provide resources for post-secondary education, employment also, and help us with transition services for kiddos that once they hit age 14. Let's see, only upcoming big training we got is the law conference is coming up in the middle of October. I think the OSE, Office of Special Ed, is actually going to make that free. We'll see what happens in Albuquerque. And the only big thing coming down the road from our buddies up at the Office of Special Ed is that they've invented a thing called the IDA compliance monitoring, whatever you want to call it. It's basically an audit. Every school is going to go through it. They divided us all into 5 cohorts. Cohort 1 was last year. They didn't do too good. Everybody's on a corrective action plan, basically. Lake Arthur's doing it this year. Hagerman's doing it next year. Dexter's got the year after that. And they're basically going to just do an audit on us for in the areas of child find, least restrictive environment, service delivery, discipline, early childhood, special education, and use of the alternate assessment. So it's basically going to be a big headache, but I figure I can bomb it with Lake Arthur this year, so I'll have it all in order for Hagerman come next year. But that's why they give me the big bucks here. So anyway, everything's cool in the field of Spain. So anybody got any questions or comments or anything?
Appreciate it, yeah. No questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. SRO.
Everything's going good. Still a lot of foot traffic the last couple of months, but surveyors, contractors and stuff like that. Other than that, good.
Sweet. All right. Elementary, I think she's online, right? That's right.
Yes, she is.
Good evening.
How
Can
are
you guys hear me all right?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. So for Hagerman Elementary Board updates, as far as enrollment goes, our current student count is at 211. For perfect attendance currently, we are looking at 107 students with perfect attendance. I'm hoping we can keep up that energy. For instruction and academics, coaching and observation, I was coached this last month by Your Side with Miss Peggy Brewer. We were able to observe some classrooms and then she gave me some feedback of just some things to look for as I walk in through beginning walkthroughs in these upcoming weeks. We observed that there's cohesive planning in first grade. There is letter formation happening in kindergarten. Various classrooms are using a mirror tutoring in multiple classrooms. And then there is structured discussions happening in 5th grade. In K-5 tomorrow, they'll be getting observed by CKH, Mr. Mark Hatchell. So that's capturing kids' hearts, checking for, social contracts, how teachers are greeting students. Preschool will be getting observations from class next week. And then I will be doing ongoing structured literacy walkthroughs the remainder of this week and next week. As far as some shout outs for some enrichment that's going on in the elementaries, EAs like Miss Nichols, Miss Nikase, and Miss Lopez are leading students in the STEM lab, creating rockets, exploring a variety of different science activities, and they are rocking it. And so I really appreciate that. Some other celebrations are staff and student handbooks have been sent out, as well as progress reports have been sent out between last week and today. And so that's a big win, getting that in our stakeholders' hands. As far as professionalism, I held a meeting last week about ethics and professionalism and including the digital world and social media and what that looks like for us, and setting some boundaries and getting some signatures to report back to central office regarding that. And then some more shout outs. Teachers have been incredibly flexible and helpful, and EAs have been stepping up with last minute coverage and support, keeping everything running smoothly. And some more things that leadership was able to do. They were able to provide feedback to Decker regarding the new building concerns, and some concerns that we did note was just pre-K classroom sizing and how that's going to meet the need of the New Mexico pre-K requirements. And so that was presented to Decker also at that allotted time. Last week or a couple weeks ago, I participated in a weekend training with Ms. Reyes on strategic planning at SOAR in Albuquerque. Currently, I'm in Albuquerque for RISE leadership training, where I am working on developing my skills as a leader and getting any kind of supports and things to be able to continue to develop my skills and help to bring that back to Hagerman Elementary. As far as events and activities, we had Creative Repertory Theater present Raquel's Purple Pineapple for our students and some of the middle school students. Upcoming, we have a fundraiser coming up for world famous chocolate, so you'll see lots of that coming around. And then we also have Central Valley Electric Cooperative doing a safety demonstration with 5th grade next week. And then as far as hiring and open positions, we have a new hire, Geraldine Rains. She'll join us as a 5th grade teacher. She's moving from Texas and expected to start in about a week. Positions posted. We still have a math interventionist posted, and I have 2 interviews scheduled for Wednesday regarding that position. Substitutes and coverage. Currently right now, Mrs. Ali Orozco is serving as our long-term substitute in 5th grade, and then Miss Jacqueline Summers is covering her small groups during the interim. And some closing notes, many thanks to staff and families for their continued support and teamwork. I'll be working on some reflection tomorrow at this conference to find some focuses for myself as a leader. And then please let me know if there's any other information that you need me to report during this time, as I'm like updating and getting into the groove of updating you all every month. So questions, comments, concerns?
Questions? Good, thank you.
Is she
All
back?
right, thank you.
Yes, she says it's here.
Is this?
Okay, so for enrollment and attendance, middle school enrollment remains the same as last month, 84 kids. At the high school, we gained a freshman, but we lost a junior, so we're actually the same number we were there for 87, 171 for the total secondary. For in the area of academic achievement and progress reports went out last week, I think Tuesday. We were following up this week with students who have not returned a signed copy to the office. I know Maddie was working on making sure who we have who were missing today, so we could follow up with those parents to make sure it made it home. We do have teachers that are tracking students in danger of failing the 9 weeks. There's a spreadsheet, and teachers go in and put things in. Coach Rodriguez and I will start following up with those kids, having a one-on-one conversation, like, why are you missing so many assignments? What's going on? And then making sure they have their parents have seen the progress report. A lot of accountability is happening with that. Also, teachers were encouraged to make phone calls home to let parents know of their concerns and try to, get as much intervention happening as possible. For the intervention and support programs we're using subject.com at the high school. It seems to be going really well for our credit recovery. From what I can monitor on my end, students are making progress, and it seems to be working much better than what Edgenuity was for us. It's an improved platform for sure. The middle school, we have weekly IXL challenges. There's out here on the front board of the middle school, there's a little poster every week of different things we have kids working on. Some weeks it's the most correct answers, it's the most skills mastered, the most skills proficient. This week it's a team challenge, so between different classrooms they're having which one, and I didn't get a chance today to look to see who was leading, but it's been, some of the kids are consistent, always in the top 5, and we've seen a lot of different faces and across the grade levels. The different kids, and it seems to be motivating them to use that platform. Last week we did complete the BOI map testing for that assessment activity. We have student council elections. We've started making plans for homecoming. It seems like esports is practicing pretty regularly at lunch, and I know FFA has done some stuff. Since we last met, they went to a leadership training, they've gone to state fair, and they're looking forward to making plans for Easter. We will host our first quarter parent meeting on the 24th, next Wednesday, in the Commons area for secondary parents to come out and share their ideas, concerns, anything like that, an opportunity for them to have a voice in what's going on at school or ask questions if they want to become involved. That's something that I think is important that we haven't done much of in the past. Last Thursday, we had our CES site coach, Stacy Diller, on campus. She worked with about 5 different teachers between the elementary and the secondary. But spent time about 40 minutes observing their classrooms, and then in the afternoon worked with them one-on-one with some coaching strategies to help them improve some of their classroom techniques and work with some of the struggles that they're having. As far as behavior, discipline, and school culture, discipline remains pretty minimal. We've had a few more cell phone and electronic issues. Kind of looked at the data for that today. At the middle school, where only 8 of the 84 students have had a cell phone issue, and that also includes other electronics, AirPods, smartwatches, and iPads. We've seen a few of those little instances. High school, a few more. They've had 23. We only have 3 students that have had more than one run-in with devices, and we've only given 1 ISS for a refusal to surrender a device. So it's working out. Tomorrow, Mark Hatchell will be here from Capturing Kids' Hearts to work on traction meeting and coaching our teachers and help support our Capturing Kids' Hearts program. Today, we had a meeting to work on refining some of our cafeteria procedures at the secondary lunch because we have some things that are not running super smooth there, and trying some new things to try to make sure that process works well for all of our kids and our cafeteria staff and our lunch duty staff. Important events that are coming up. Like we said, homecoming. We don't have a schedule finalized. There's some details that we want to work out, and we're meeting as an admin team later this week to kind of have everything, but get that information out so people can start making plans for that. Celebration recognitions for August. We had 2 students of the month recognized. Middle school student of the month was Trip Moss, and high school student of the month is Fernando Zamora. For staff members of the month, middle school recognition was Dulce Garcia, and high school was Daniel Sanchez. We have accepted the resignation of the high school math teacher and basketball coach, Mr. Bailey. We are in the process of finding a new person for that role. We had an interview last week, and we have 2 more scheduled for tomorrow, so hopefully we get that taken care of pretty quickly. Other things have been happening. Worked on the New Mexico Elevate platform for our certified staff. They've done self-reflection. They should, by last Friday, should have had all their beginning of the year PDP goals. And I've started walkthroughs and been to a lot of our classrooms and have a checklist that we're following, and I provide feedback from that process. I had hoped to go to Thrive last week, but I fell off the sidewalk on Tuesday morning and sprained my ankle. And so I was unable to do that, and I did have a follow-up with my coach for that today. So with all that being said, I stand for any questions you might have.
Can you name those teachers again?
For students, for teachers, Dulce Garcia is middle school. She's our ELA, EA, and then Mr. Daniel Sanchez.
Can you feel here on our sidewalk?
The one in front of the front door of the middle school, yes.
Much better now though?
Yeah, it is. I've worn my brace and iced it and stayed off of it a little bit.
No approaches.
I never had crutches. I told them football boys I was just going to rub some dirt on it.
So we are getting it fixed.
Yes. So, yes.
Hey, Ron or Parker, have anything to add? Or?
I got something.
CT wise, we're pretty mellow this time of the year. Kind of some good news. Our old CCRB rep called me maybe a week or 2 ago, asking for permission to use our application to teach some new schools and programs. Apparently, we're one of the top rated applications in the state, and so that's always some good news. Getting to see, I guess, telling me I'm doing my job right when I'm filling that stuff out. But they're going to use that and train a lot of these smaller new programs coming up and stepping up into this next gen Perkins side. This is a local needs assessment year, so I'll probably be sending some of you guys some survey data and some stuff as we get closer to December and January as we start our CLNA and our data tracking for the 90th and 100th day data for CT. So other than that, it's been pretty good. We've been doing good. FFA just got back from State Fair. We started our fresh country sale. So if you're looking for any of the frozen meat or anything like that, find a kid, there's a link going around online that you can purchase online as well. So with that, stand for questions.
Did we ever get started on the ag barn or pins?
We met the last week we met with
Last
them.
week. Last
My
Tuesday.
days blur these. They're supposed to, they gave us a quote, and so we had Miss Reyes and I sat with them and kind of made some revisions, and so we're kind of waiting on a revised quote to come back from the same contracting company. So hopefully we met before they left for Albuquerque, and so hopefully this week we should have a new quote back because we already got your sidewall and we met the same day, so I'm hoping maybe tomorrow.
So we already had a quote for that. The only thing is that our grant was only 576, was it 576, 596, somewhere around there? And
576.
this was, the quote that we got was like $100,000 more than our grant. However, we could use bond money because, it was something that it was part of the bond. And I think I put $100,000 for that, so we could use that.
Who quoted it?
We asked to see if they could reduce it a little bit, because they have like bathroom for boys and girls, so there's no need for a boys' bathroom and a girls' bathroom at the, at barn. If we just have one bathroom, that should be more than sufficient, and that should cover the cost. So we're just waiting for the new one. Something else they were gonna cut, do you remember what it was?
Originally they had priced in refrigerated air or swamp, I think refrigerated air, some other things that we asked them to take off and look at, some of those gigantic fans, some different ventilation systems, some other ends, they were kind of going full wall expensive, and so we kind of came back with some rebuttals and some different things to kind of see what they can come up with.
Who quoted it?
I'm sorry, who?
Who quoted it?
It's, White Rock,
Yes.
White Rock, Construction. So hopefully we'll get started at that point. We actually have 2 years to complete the project. But then if we wait too long, then it's not going to be $600,000, it'll be $800,000.
1,200, like millions, yeah.
No questions?
Just a few things. Shout out to Lake Arthur. We've had some bus issues and they stepped up. They lent us a bus to help us get from place to place. Had a lot of things, pop up for athletics. Miss Dennis bit the bullet and escorted a bunch of middle school girls to Eunice because of just coaching. We had to have sponsors there, so she was there. Thanks for her help. Really appreciative of everybody that's come together to kind of help keep the athletics and the events and the games going smoothly. Trying to think who else. Mr. Hemphill helped drive some football players 2 weeks ago to Cloud Crop just because of the bus that we did get from Lake Arthur was really small and we didn't have enough for our football players and coaches to be on there. So he took a couple guys up there for us. Just real appreciative of everybody working together, collaborating, and helping get things done. Ms. Carmen was probably bothering the crap out of her for 2-3 weeks. Just, do we have a bus? Gary getting the stuff. It was a good team effort. So I'm really, really appreciative for everybody that's come together for the work. Met with the construction company through BSN and took him to the field. And what he thought, what his undertaking didn't match what we had. And they were concerned about the price. The 2 D rings, they said they would not be able to do the 2 D rings. So one rendering that we have right now is a D ring on the east end zone where the high jump and pole vault is. We would turn that into a D ring. It's going to be about the same size as the rendering that we gave them. And then they're going to resurface the pole vault area. One of the benefits from that is we're not going to have to move our field the way the original rendering was done. And we're not going to mess with the irrigation as much. There's still going to be a few areas that we're going to cap off, and they said that they would take care of that. So minimal damage to the field. In place of the second D ring where we had the 3 pits, I asked if they would be able to lay asphalt and put the jumping pits on the east side of the field, that northeast corner, kind of out there by where the field house is, where the third shot put now, and add a strip for javelin. They said that was probably a possibility. They have not got back with me. They were supposed to start today. Nobody was out there this morning. Nobody reached out to me from BSN, so check in with them tomorrow and see kind of where they're at and what they're thinking going forward. One option they had was to do the D ring, the full D ring, this time, and then maybe work in the second phase where they fill in the other deep green. I don't know if that'd be feasible. We definitely need to get the track done for sure before a meet, because it is not usable, it's not safe for us or for us to host meets. So I'll have more information hopefully by the end of the week for you guys to have to wait. I think that's it. Other than that, great start to the season. Bobcats are 3-1 in football. Girls are still have a winning record. Cross country's kicking butt. Our junior high won. The Ruidoso meet with like big 5A schools and stuff there. JV came in second, and our little 7th grade girls just won their first game today. So
They're so
You would have thought they won the Olympics. They were fired up.
So that's the good news. You guys have any questions?
I might have one because I was at the game Friday,
Yes.
and the parent behind me brought it up as well. The parent behind me, I understand this weekend emotions were high, flags were at half mast, but I mean, I do agree with the parent. The parent behind me counted, and the flag touched that ground or drug on the ground 7 times from the tunnel to where they laid them down. They weren't even put up properly.
Okay.
And parents were upset about that, and the parent asked me, do we teach flag etiquette? Do we teach them how to? They like seeing our boys with the flag,
Right.
but the boys need to know what the American flag isn't supposed to touch the ground. You're not supposed to lay them down. So that's something that I understand everything was heightened this weekend with the flags being at half mast and everything that happened, but I do agree with the parent. If we're going to carry the flags, there needs to be flag etiquette. Flags don't touch the ground. We put them up properly. And I mean, the parent behind me was counting.
Right.
And I just told him, that's something we can fix. We can teach our boys. Our boys like carrying them. We can teach them how to properly do it. But that was just something that.
And we had a
was brought
conversation
up.
about that this morning as far as like how to have to address that with the coaches about what needs to happen, who's going to be responsible for going and making sure they get carried back to the field house and those kind of things.
And I didn't even know. I heard him counting, but I didn't know what he was counting. But it was just something. I mean, and it is, pretty important to me as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
We'll take care of it. We discussed it.
Yeah, I'll talk with them. They do look good running out that tunnel.
Oh, they do. They do. Any other questions? Are you going to get everything you need at the track, though? I mean, or should we hold them more accountable for some of these things, or how does that work?
I'm not too sure. BSN's working with us because at least the rep that I'm working through, he says this is what we quoted you at, so we're going to do what we can to honor that quote as best we can. And they had estimated, the other company had estimated like 11,000 square feet of asphalt that was needed, which was way under. So BSN kind of worked with them, and I think the D-ring that they had in that design is 13,000 square feet, so they're a little bit more asphalt than what the company had thought it was going to take. And then on top of that area for the pits.
You get to move all your pits.
And so if it comes down to it, maybe they just do resurface the track, resurface those pits, those runways, and give us that D-ring, and then maybe down the road we can go out for capital outlay or go for a bond to really complete it, or to get that Chapman section, whatever it needs to be.
They need to make it right.
They need to make it right, and we're kind of stuck where we need that track resurfaced, redone, so we can be safe.
So if we get the track and everything done, are there other things we could possibly fix or make to where we could use them this season?
Well, if we can get it all used this season as is, everything can be done. But for that price that they quoted us, they need to do a little bit extra.
Right.
And they said we just got to figure out what that is, what works, and how long it's going to take, which looks like. And that's where we're kind of flashing things.
Yeah, make sure it's as close to what you want.
Yes, yeah. Well, as close to what we want, close to what works for us, and close to what that quote is.
Other questions?
Moving on, consent. Any questions about the meeting minutes from August 18th? Any bills and investments for the month of August? Not, I just need a motion to approve.
I'll make some motion.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. First new item, budget adjustments. Any more questions for Ms. Charlie?
I'll make the motion.
Moved by Trevor,
I'll second.
second by Dustin. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. First, B, item B, presentation work-based learning.
Okay, so good evening to all of you. So today we're going to hear a presentation on the Pecos Valley Rural High School Internship Program. So this is basically an initiative that represents a partnership with 4 school districts. This is between Artesia, Dexter, Hagerman, and Lake Arthur, along with local employers and community organizations. So this program is designed to provide students with paid internships and capstone experiences that will build their career skills and support graduation requirements. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Mr. Mike May. Are you there, Mr. May?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me okay, Belia?
We can hear you, yes, sir.
Okay.
He will be presenting and he will be giving us all the details of the program. It's all yours, Mr. May.
Okay, very good. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for the time. As the superintendent just described, my name's Mike with Future Focused Education. Our organization is a nonprofit based in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And really, we do a lot of different work helping schools, but fundamentally one of our core areas is helping to create paid internship programs. We run our own program here in Albuquerque with multiple schools as partners. We do the same thing in Santa Fe and Espanola. And then part of my work is to support communities around the state in developing their own paid internship program based on the work that we've done and some of the experience that we've accumulated now over the years. Belly, I just wanted to see, am I able to share my screen?
Ellen, can you give him?
He should have access.
You should have access, sir.
Okay, very good. I thought it might just be helpful for you all. Let me see if I can get the right thing up to. I'll share a brief presentation of kind of the work that we do at Future Focused, and then transition into the design in particular of what we're thinking about and have been talking about with the 4 districts that that Belia mentioned. So Artesia, Hagerman, Dexter, and Lake Arthur as a way to collaborate together. So let me see if I can get this to work. Let's see, here we go. Is that up for you all?
Yes.
Very good. So again, I won't go into Future Focus too much other than just to make clear when it comes to the world of paid internships, we're trying to solve this dilemma of access for young people. We know that I just heard, the audio wasn't great, but I heard the report out, I think, of your CTE director. So I know that your district and others that are nearby, you guys already have opportunities for young people to gain experience in different ways. This program would be designed to complement that. And that's what we've done at Future Focused. So we started this program about 8 years ago, and now we have done close to 2,000 internship placements. So I think what this is telling us is that there is certainly a need for young people and for local businesses to have the opportunity to support each other in creating a pathway forward. We did a lot of work around the state interviewing young people, and I thought this was worth sharing. We have an arm of our organization called the Instituto del Puente, And what we did was gathered young people and just kind of surveyed them about what they felt was important for a promising and a meaningful high school experience. They named learning with purpose, care for their well-being, and mentorship as the top 3 things that they felt were really essential. And we think that the paid internship program is something that's important and a real contribution to address some of those desires. The challenge has always been in this program creating the funding paths. So what I'm going to show you is the proposal that we have worked on together with the 4 districts to essentially run a pilot program in your community in the spring. And Belly, I'm not sure how much I'm going to stop sharing. Oh, I was actually doing that successfully. Have folks seen the document already, Belia, that kind of outlines the
They
basic?
do have the document. I believe I did send it to you guys. They have it. They have a hard copy, but I think I also sent it to you via email. But yes, they do have it.
Okay. I'm just going to walk through. I tried to make this large. I'm not sure how visible the screen is to you all, if you're able to see this text.
Sir?
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So what we are proposing with the Pecos Valley High School internship program is a way to address the question of how you are able to compensate young people in paid internships. So the idea is a partnership between the 4 districts and the PED and Future Focused. So the idea is that PED will put forward $1,500 per student to cover the cost of a stipend for their participation. Typically, what we're shooting for is a total of around $3,000 per placement. And that's assuming that a young person would be out in the community about 12 hours a week. And then they're compensated via a stipend. At least this is the idea at the moment. So a portion of that would be picked up by PED. Employers, the different superintendents and their teams are already generating, we would be asking them to contribute as well. So we're not sure how much they'll be able to do, but the idea could be as much as a half. And then the districts would contribute an amount as well. So we've named that at the moment at 500. Now, if you total that up, we're already above 3,000, but that's perfect because we want to have a little bit of a buffer depending on how the program is designed. So fundamentally, we would work, the Future Focus role in this process is to help provide the technical assistance to the districts, to the folks that you all might name to work with these young people and with employers, as well as working with the employers to help them understand how to create an environment that can be successful with a young person, what supports they need to think about putting in place, and how to really interface between a high school and local employers. We also have developed some performance assessment tools that are very easy to use and that are driven by industry. So they were developed by folks here in the Albuquerque and other areas now to really focus on entry-level workforce readiness skills. So that's the last component, I think, of this is that we have partnered with the New Mexico Community Trust, which is a foundation here that has done this now in a couple places, most recently Lake Arthur, where they have been able to provide administrative support to districts should they want to not try to pay or compensate interns themselves. And this community trust has also been willing to hold any type of community or employer generated funds that might be contributed to the program. So we've tried to put this together as a package that would allow communities, especially ones like yourself, that where there are it's more of a rural nature, to partner with different entities so that the whole lift doesn't fall on one particular district. So again, this is sort of the fundamental approach. You can see at the bottom what we're proposing as a total budget. This includes stipends for teachers. Any teacher that would be named to work with this would be provided a stipend. And then our organization would receive some technical assistance support. And then the large cost would go towards student internship stipends. Again, this is fundamentally to develop student capstones, internships with employers and your teams to really include the skills and knowledge attributes that many of you have identified in your graduate profiles, and that link to real life experience and mentorship with professionals in your community, such that they can start orienting themselves towards life after graduation and gaining experience. So I'll stop. I feel like I probably just opened up a fire hose on you all. So if there are questions, I'm happy to do my best to answer them.
Mike, can you clarify that the student internships of 50, that is for the 4 schools? So
Say that one more time.
Okay, the student internships, we have 50 here, but that's for the 4 schools. So for Hagerman, it will probably be about 10 to 12.
Yep, that sounds about right. I think those again are the details. What my understanding tonight, Belly, is we're just sort of, for the board at this point, our request is for the permission to move forward to try this pilot, meaning that we need to keep working with the other districts and then with PED to try and employers to see if we can put this into place.
So right now, we only have it as a presentation for them. And
okay.
Then, yes, hopefully next month, we will have more information and then we'll be able to make a decision on this.
Very good.
Is it juniors and seniors or seniors?
Juniors and seniors.
Something that came up in that Pro-B Proud meeting that I went to this morning, they were talking about internships for students that are underage, because some of the industry, we can't have underage workers because of liability or whatever. Have we thought about that aspect of it?
Not with this. So with this program, it would only be for juniors and seniors, because usually they are the ones that can drive themselves. So we are having, and there's also, I gave you a packet, and some of you are going to be getting an email on this so that you can attend this. So basically, there's going to be a conversational meeting with businesses, and we identified several businesses here in town that could potentially be able to host one or two of the students. The meeting will be October the 9th. Lunch will be provided, and this will be at Ortiz Public Schools in their boardroom. And it will be presented by the 4 superintendents, as well as guidance from Future Focus Education. So, for example, Mr. Gray, I think you're part of this. You will get an invitation, let's put it that way. And if you want to have, it really doesn't cost the employers much.
Well, it sounds like it costs $1,500 on top of their wages.
But not to the employer. The $1,500, PED will be contributing that, and then
there's another $1,500 by the employers.
And then the school's going to pay $500 on top of that.
the school will be paying $500, but that comes out of Next Gen funds. That would be per kid. So again, for us, it's about 12 students. And then, so Mike, can you help us with this? I mean, let me see.
Are these paid internships?
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, I'm happy to. So at the moment, the hope with this and why PED and even the Secretary of Education are very interested is we have had in communities around the state employers who have said they are willing to contribute something towards this type of effort. At the moment, we have pegged this at the numbers that you see listed. That's something though that still has to be figured out in detail when it comes to actual program implementation. But the suggestion is that somehow between this, the PED will make a contribution, a local employer will make a contribution, and the school district will make a contribution. That is correct. I don't remember which board member noted that at the moment it's stated at $1,500 for an employer. That number could change. Some employers are offering to pay more. Some employers are going to have to do less. But I think the hope with this pilot is to initiate that conversation and see what is possible in a given community with different partners.
What's the term of the internship? Is it for a year, 5 years, 2 years?
I think the hope with this one is to be able to run the pilot in the spring for a spring semester. So that would track, Belly, I don't know your calendar exactly, but generally ours are going about 12 to 13 weeks.
Yes. It'll be about 18 weeks during the spring, more or less.
And Belia, do you know in your community, does the county in that area participate in the summer internship program through PED?
No, we don't.
Okay, got it.
So at the last meeting that we had, and my understanding was that the employer would only pay like 3%.
Would pay what percent?
3%. That they would contribute, their contribution would be 3%, not $1,500.
Yeah, at this point, I don't know what 3% would be a very low number. So I'm not sure exactly how that'll work. We know that we have employers who are interested between your 4 districts in contributing potentially even more. So I think that's what the employer session that you named on October the 9th will be, to help explore and have people kind of think through what's possible, and also where that intersection of need at a local employer is with the opportunity for exposure.
So another thing that, and I know Jolene will be happy with this, because, right now she's probably thinking another thing that, it has to go through payroll, but actually we don't take care of that here. Is that correct?
That's right. At the moment, we have the resources available to have an outside entity through that community trust be able to manage payroll for you all. Within the 4 districts, that's something that we're leaving up to you all. Some districts may say we have the systems in place to do that, and proceed accordingly. But for instance, Lake Arthur, they ran a pilot this past spring, and they did utilize the community trust to pay their students who were participating in the internship program.
So we actually have 2 students from Lake Arthur that they are coming here. I believe it's twice a week, and they're with Nurse Henson, and they get paid for that.
Yep, I think that's, Belia, you know that better than I, so that's awesome. That's what we work to help them put into place. I think just so the board members understand, broadly speaking, we have future focused last year in collaboration and with the sponsorship of a state representative. We introduced a bill into the legislature to create a fund that would allow local employers, foundations, nonprofits to contribute to a fund that could be accessed by districts around the state to implement work-based learning and to compensate then young people through that fund. The bill did not pass last year, but it's coming back up again. And this type of a pilot, much like Lake Arthur did last school year, these are the opportunities for communities to show that they're interested and open to creative problem solving with the state to try and figure out how to compensate young people for these types of experiences. We've been doing this work as well up in Espanola and in Cuba, supporting Cuba to execute an internship program. And we've just seen there appears to be appetite and an openness to thinking creatively about this, knowing that it is rare for a company to be able to cover the entire cost of an internship, especially in more rural parts of the state. So I think we're going into this very much with our eyes wide open and want to be transparent with you all that proposal that you see is just in order to put something down to start a conversation. But so that's kind of where things are.
Have any questions for Mr. Mike?
So is there they have to make minimum wage or anything like that?
Yeah, generally we try to design the program to at least match the minimum wage in the local community. And that varies. We're typically trying to exceed it. I think that's the summer internship program that I mentioned that's run through PED. That's the way they've approached the work as well.
So if an employer is paying the $1,500 and we're only getting 12 hours, that's kind of setting our kids up for failure because they're not going to start out at $125 an hour once they graduate high school.
I think that's something that we'll need to look at carefully with the employers that we have worked so far, establishing what your local minimum is and what the typical, we're generally not trying to exceed an entry-level wage, but trying to establish a stipend amount that is at least in line with the local minimum to exceed. Because one of the things that we found is if a young person, if you don't at least match that, they will choose potentially a fast food job or something over a paid internship if you're not able to entice it a little bit more. So at least matching it has shown to be helpful.
How many hours a week do they have to work? Is it the minimum?
Yeah, typically that's what we would work with the principals at the sites and the school leaders, but ideally what we're shooting for is about 12 hours. I think Lake Arthur has also experimented with doing more. It really just depends. If you have generally juniors, in particular seniors, often have a schedule such that they're able to be off campus a little bit more. What we're trying to avoid is sending an intern to a business for just a couple hours a week, because that just tends to become more of a shadow ship and they're not able to really make much of a contribution.
And our insurance actually covers the students.
Yeah, but with a lot of the industry around here, it'd be 18 or 21 and over. Just do an ocean.
That was what came up in the meeting that I was in today, that they were concerned about that.
How much do our students make normally that we have here? Like our students?
Well, see, we can have one or two here at the school. And then possibly if somebody wants to become like a teacher's aide, they can do that too. maybe at the police department. Filing papers. We could possibly have one at central office. I mean, and that's just, you know.
There's all of our workers allotted already.
I mean, there's a lot of things that we can do at the local farms.
Springtime, slow time. That's about it.
If we have some mechanics, maybe they can help Mikey.
Yeah, Belly, I think these are I've been involved in multiple communities now as we've brought people together to explore where you might create internships. And once the opportunity kind of gets put on the table, I've been very impressed with where folks start to think could be good fits for young people. So school districts have located young people in places like HR, IT, transportation. There's a lot of opportunity under the roof of a district. And then, like you named, local employers. Sometimes there are going to be places where entities will want people who are over 18, or there may be other constraints. But we've had a lot of success identifying kind of peripheral settings, whether it's in construction. In your world, there are other, oil and gas is going to play a role, I would imagine, within these 4 districts. But there are even healthcare, outdoor recreation, land management. We have found a lot of places that young people can fit in such that they're not in the front line of a high liability risk type position, but they're still able to make a contribution. What we've done and what we would recommend and offer assistance, this is what we did with Lake Arthur, is for each company that's interested, we work with them to create a custom position description so that the young person, it's not a job description, but it's a position description that really blends contributions with what they would then be able to see and observe. And by doing that intentionally, we've been able to put young people in a lot of interesting spaces that work well. That's something that has become a bit of a quality characteristic of the program. And I think employers have felt very supported by going through that process so that they can have their concerns addressed about what does that mean for us? What do we need to be ready to do? What do we need to be ready to support? And frankly, what are we going to get out of it, right? What contribution can the young person make? And by hitting that intersection, things have worked very well for a lot of communities. Maybe the last thing I'll share is just a tool that we've developed that we would hope to be able to use with you all. That is it's a very simple way to help create a performance reflection experience. So this is what I had mentioned, where rather than having somebody just sort of fill out a paper sheet, this is actually an online survey that a mentor and an intern would complete. It's very quick to do, and it's rooted in 10 workforce readiness skills. And what happens is the young person would fill it out, and then the mentor would fill it out. And what you're seeing on this is a representation of the interns' ratings of how they did in certain categories, right? Are you able to listen to people effectively, offering help as needed? Are you able to write clearly and communicate? Are you able to respond to differences? If somebody comes up with feedback for you, how are you able to engage? So what you're seeing is an intern rating themselves. The colors here, green, dark green is the highest rating. You can see this intern is giving themselves ratings that are sort of minimal. They're kind of middle of the road, and yet you see a mentor on the right side. Their ratings are telling that young person that they're doing quite well. In these settings that we work with, we help facilitate a conversation that is a performance reflection, and that really allows a deeper conversation that's different than what a young person might expect for a grade or an assignment, but really introduces them to the notion of work in a professional setting and the corresponding skills that go with that. So it sets up the school to be able to start crosswalking not only academic competencies, right, with real workplace settings, but also those professional skills, hard and soft. So we found that some form of that is very helpful to include in these types of experiences. And it facilitates Belia's team to be able to offer credit, right? If the program grows and she wants to count those capstones and internships for credit, the state graduation requirements now, as you all know, allow for that, but there has to be some infrastructure and some methods to the madness.
I've got one more question. So why would we go with Future Focus instead of just like creating our own internships, doing this in-house? Like, what's the benefit of partnering with you guys and doing the pilot program?
That's an excellent question. I think ultimately, to be clear, our vision is that you will take this on yourself over time. I think that's the way we have worked with most communities. What I would offer, I think, is in this initial phase, we have been successful in guiding folks as they start off programs like this, in particular in a setting where the idea with this is that there's some collaboration between the 4 districts. And what we offer is the ability to offer training from people from the different districts together, such that you all are able to create a landscape and a framework that can be sustainable within your area. And we're suggesting ourselves as the initial kind of starter for that and helping you all lay a foundation that'll work, and that we've worked to put these other supports into place, whether that the community foundation or just the ability to convene employers. A lot of schools initially have told us that that's a heavy lift to get things going. But again, in all fairness, I think that's something for the board and the district to discuss, because there are certainly examples of districts that have done that on their own. And the notion of this, though, was there seemed to be some value to having us as kind of a third party to facilitate initial relationships, design, and then execution, such that it could be handed off to you all going forward. I think that the other thing is that we have helped administer paid internship programs on behalf of the state of New Mexico. And there's a level of trust that the PED has in us with how we approach the work that it appears has gotten their attention, such that they're willing to contribute to this pilot in a way that helps defray costs for your local communities. I hope that's helpful, because I certainly would, ultimately when we worked with Lake Arthur, we had that discussion as well. What's the value that we bring versus what was their vision? And that's something that we want to be sure each of the districts feels good about what this course of action might be.
Anybody else have a question? Thanks for your time. Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Belia, we'll look forward to being in touch and see how we can move things forward, hopefully.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. You all have a great evening.
You too. Next item C is drug awareness and search dog.
So this is really not so much of a presentation. I know it says here presentation on drug awareness, but I just wanted to give you our policies about student searches and arrests. And so you have them all right here. So basically the one, if you look at J 3411, this one is the use of dogs in drug searches. So it was brought to my attention that, if I could look into bringing be able to use the dogs so that we could do some drug searches. And I know that we had a lot of issues when we did the backpacks, searching the backpacks, and there's gotta be probable cause. But we can, in looking at this, and I just wanted to provide you some information, I will continue looking into this, but I wanted to provide you some information on what it is that we need to do. So basically, if you look in the second paragraph right here, it says the superintendent or his or her designee shall request the use of drug dogs when the superintendent or his or her designee believe that this type of action is necessary for the safety of the students of the school district. So it can be done. The only thing, and then here it provides us, as to what we need to do. And, I do need to send a letter home that there's a possibility that, that this could be done. But again, we have to have a probable cause, and the dogs cannot be like getting close to a kid and then starts barking. Basically what they do, if they sniff, then they just sit down next to that kid. So there's no need to do any barking. But I just wanted to share this with you, and that way you can look at it. And in the meantime, I will look more into it. So I'll contact the police department and then see what we could do. I want to make it, if we do have them, if we do bring them in here, which I think it will be, not even the administrators will know when they will be.
I have a question, because you brought up probable cause, which is a good topic.
Yes.
And I noticed some other schools over by Albuquerque. So if we go with, from my understanding, if we go with an actual sheriff's department or police station, then yes, it is probable cause.
Correct.
But if we go with a private, say a security company or a canine service, that the rules are different.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, do you know anything about that, or?
That might be different though. The only thing is that we kind of have to go, and that's why I wanted to provide you with this so that you can have a little bit of time to look at it. And then I want to bring it back to discussion for next month. That way, we're all on the same page and we are not, when it comes to litigation.
I think it was Espinola, I think, that they went with the path to use, they're still state certified canines. They went through the same training and everything, but they used a private company instead of a police department because how the rules apply to, police or state troopers or whatever versus a security company. But they're still licensed through the same approving authorities.
And I want to be able to look into this because, of course, this was just brought to my attention, a few days ago, and I need to look more into it. I just wanted to get these policies so that we can all become familiar with them, and then, so that we can move forward with this. But I think that this is something that we can definitely pursue, and we just need to make sure. I know as I was reading, it says that we need to have a lockdown, and then the dogs could come in. The only concern is that because marijuana is actually legal, it's legal, not in the schools, but it has been legalized. And I believe that the dogs are not, they don't sniff that anymore. So, but if there's any other things that are out there, then that they will detect them.
But one of our problems is vapes. If they're not a marijuana vape, if it's a nicotine vape, they're not going to get that either.
They won't get that.
And that's why I brought up possibly private, because some of the private still are. Versus where I think I read most of your state sheriff's departments have been trained not to sniff anymore.
Correct. I can look into it. And we do have a new lawyer now. We are already signed up with Samora, Ortiz and Samora. I will definitely give them our first bill, no. And then consult this with them and we'll see what we can do. I mean, this was so recent, and I just need to get more information, but right now I just wanted to provide you with the policies that we currently have. And there's a few of them here, if you look on policy.
Is this updated through NMSBA?
Yes,
So this is like their guideline on.
correct.
It's
This
not-
is off our website.
It's from our website,
It's
yes.
all.
So if you look at this one here, so this is something that I have to do and we have to do it immediately. So I'm looking at J3431, and this one is actually, it's an acknowledgement concerning the use of student lockers. So in other words, this one says, I acknowledge and I understand that the student lockers are the property of the district. So we have to let the kids know. And then possibly send a copy to the parents as well.
I was gonna ask, this is something moving forward, we should probably have in our hand.
It needs to be in the handbook.
Does it need to be just our student lockers, or our student and our athletic lockers? Because some of our kids have multiple lockers,
Probably all of them.
or access to multiple lockers.
And then here it says, student lockers remain at all times under the control of the district. I am expected to assume full responsibility for my school locker. The district retains the right to inspect student lockers for any reason at any time without notice, without student consent, and without a search warrant. Then every kid needs to sign this.
Question, if they refuse to sign, do we take their locker back?
I don't think that they should refuse. You never know. You never know. Then if you look at this one, there's J3432. This one is basically from the arresting officer if anything was to happen. So like, for example, I, so-and-so officer, duly sworn peace officer and member of the, Hagerman Police Department. And so, this has to be, just in case if there's a kid that gets arrested, we need to
Don't they have their
one
own
of these.
paperwork that they fill out?
They do, but we need to have this. But that's only if a student gets arrested. Okay?
So
So
the students fill out this acknowledgement?
No, we would fill it out if we arrested.
the acknowledgement
Or should they
would
all?
be the officer.
No, this acknowledgement concerning use of student lockers, should every student that has a locker?
Oh, yes,
fill this out?
that is the student, correct.
And do the parents need to sign it too? Because this says.
But you know what, I think we can, based on this one, it's only for the students, but we can definitely send this to the parent, and we can update it and then make sure that the parent knows. I think it would be wise for the parents to
I
be
think
able
it'd be
to sign this.
safer if the
As a
parents also-
parent, I would want to know that my kid was signing this.
Okay, so what I need to do on this, I need to do an amendment. And then really it's just another line that we need here.
Well, I think we need to amend it to include all lockers that belong to the district. So whether it's a football locker at the field house, basketball locker, a locker in Parker's shop, whatever. I guess we could go as far as the cubbies that the elementary kids have if we want to go that route. Technically that's their locker.
Really just the school property.
Yeah.
So I can amend this and then we can go ahead and approve it for next meeting. In the meantime, it will give me time to be able to set up something.
Yeah, we'll talk about their order.
Mm-hmm.
Is what kind of concerns me with the dog is anything with searching. After our last
Yes.
field searches and all that, you bring the dog in, let's just say the dog sits next to, well, he may not have anything. He might be at home and his people that he lives with,
Yes.
and it just transfers onto the clothing or something like that,
Possible.
Doesn't mean that kid is, and now we're singling out, with no, I don't know, that the whole last.
In all of
last time
that,
whole-
it's actually in here, everything, what should you do if this happens? I hate to, who knows, they might come over here and sniff Cody and. But I just wanted to provide you all this information so that we can have a little bit of time to read it. I will definitely contact the lawyers and see what the best option will be.
Even if we just, it's an deterrent, we just use them in the buildings and not necessarily the kids. Even if we just run them through and we find their stash spots and we start hitting those more and more, and then that's gonna be more deterrent possibly for them bringing them.
I remember being in high school and drug searches were big, really common in Las Cruces. They would pretty much lock us down, and then if the dog notified at that door, then all the kids would come out, and then that dog went inside and search. But we had backpacks then. But
But according to this, you can't search the student without probable cause.
Not
But you
that
can search any school property.
property.
So our lockers, our hallways, our,
So we can do you can walk the dogs, maybe just scare them, crap out of the kids.
I think our
But they
kids are.
really, you really can't,
But
you
it
can't
has
search
to be
them.
a probable cause though. So if you bring a dog on campus and you did not have suspicion of drugs on the campus, would that completely throw that out because you didn't have probable cause?
And that's gonna be where the law comes in between if we use a state agency, but if we use an actual police officer versus where if we use a private company.
What if we use a private company and we catch somebody, do we have any grounds to stand on? I mean, the fact that we can discipline them through the school, we can't discipline them legally.
The dog's not doing the searching. The dog is giving the searcher the probable cause by sitting next to whatever they smell until they're getting around the probable cause. That the dog is getting the probable cause for the search. That's the way I always understood it.
I gotta say a bit of trouble. Not trouble, but.
I mean, because we already went through this with the backpack searches, and I hate to do this again. However, I mean, if it's needed, it's something that if we need to do it, we need to do it. But I think we need to get guidance.
It sounds like I would talk, but school property shouldn't be as big of a deal as it would be.
Correct.
A person. Yeah, we probably should stay away from the person for sure.
From the person, but you know what, I was thinking maybe we could even bring them and then just go ahead and in the lockers.
We'll just want the kids in class.
Mhm.
Wherever that,
Do the hallways or whatever, the lockers, the locker rooms,
but not around
the
students.
places that we
Not around
suspect them
students,
being a
But
stash.
I will contact the lawyers and that way, I can get more. And then hopefully by next meeting, I'll be.
We don't want any dogs.
It could be a slippery slope.
Yeah, it could be.
I think, well,
But school property is one thing, students is another, right?
and here lately, there's several dogs. I think Roswell PD just got 2. I think the sheriff's department has 3 or 4 now. So they're becoming a hot topic here recently.
I had to think about that too, because obviously Hagerman doesn't have dogs, so like, if you had like some suspicion that you needed a dog, how long is that gonna take to get them
Oh,
down
it's
here?
going to take a long time. So that's why we could possibly have them like maybe every quarter.
And it's something that I think if we get ahead of now, maybe we can fight it before they get a new school and have a million hiding places versus what we have now.
I will definitely look into it and then hopefully by next meeting, I will have more information.
And right here too, it says we gotta give notice of search policy too, every year,
Yes.
so.
Well, that was in the handbook, wasn't it? That we could possibly use.
It is, there's a small section,
Yeah,
but I think we
think
probably need to do
use
this.
it.
So this is the first thing that I need to do, is I need to amend this and be able to have like the parental consent, with their signature. So I'll do this, but I really
It
can't do
would be
anything
parental
until next meeting.
consent, would it? It would just be parental
Acknowledgement.
acknowledgement, because consent, it's our school property.
Yes, so just acknowledgement, or basically it's just for them to,
I mean, it'd be kind of like when they do the DUI checkpoints, right? They advertise it in the paper or wherever saying, hey, there's going to be a checkpoint, because that way it's not a trap.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of like what they post on Facebook or in the paper or whatever, say, hey, we're having one. I mean, it's kind of,
Don't really say when and where, but just know at some point there's gonna be one.
right.
just a warning.
or they'll say, hey, there's one to be this weekend, but
Yeah.
what time, what day?
The state police are famous in the month of, it's like, okay, all month long.
The bat is out, is that what it's called?
On a highway.
And I will call NMSBA, Dan Castillo tomorrow and see if we could just add that other line. And, well, maybe during parent-teacher conferences, that would be a good time to get the parents
Acknowledge it.
to be able to sign
I mean, we'll just have to amend that policy.
it. Correct.
That'd be a 3 reading.
No, because it's only an amendment, so it's not going to be like a full policy.
Okay.
So it's really just an amendment and that's it. Okay.
Next item is bus ban purchase approval stuff.
Okay, first of all, my apologies. In doing more research with this van situation, I mean, it was brought to my attention. And actually, I got a phone call from the Hamels. I don't know how they found out that we were looking into purchasing a van. And so I was told that they're still not allowed. Now, the one that we were looking into is actually, it would have been a conversion, which would have been converted to 10 passengers instead of 12. Once you have more than 11, then you really can't use them for student use. So I was looking at this, and so Elva sent me some information. I called Hillary. They also sent me some information, and this is what you have right here. So basically, it's just the states that do not qualify to be able to use the van. And unfortunately, New Mexico is one of them. So then.
But it does say 12 to 15 and not 10.
Correct. It says 12 to 15. So now the only reason that I wanted to bring this back to you because I contacted Lee White, and Elva was telling me that Elva Hamill, that Lee White from Loving, they purchased one. They were the very first ones to purchase one. Head did not allow them to use it. And they converted it to a 10 passengers, and they were not allowed to use it. So they had to return it, and they lost $20,000 because they were not, they didn't get their full refund. So I just thought, okay, I'm gonna hold on to this. It's really, there's some things here, let me see.
But we can have an 8-passenger SUV.
Yes.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yes, but we cannot have a
It
van.
seems like the van would be safer, but.
So there's actually an administrative code, and it's 6.41.4. It's NMAT, and then it has rules about the school-owned activity vehicles. So these are vehicles used for school-sponsored events, so, not regular daily student transportation. So such vehicles should not be vans or minivans. Let's see, excluding buses, they may seat no less than 6 and no more than 9 people, including the driver. So all occupants must wear seat belts. That's the use of SUVs for and from transportation. Let me see, school bus regulations in New Mexico requires that all school buses used to transport children meet certain design and safety standards. If a vehicle is used in place of a school bus for transporting students regularly, there are legal and safety standards that need to be met. So what does this mean for a 10 to 12 passenger van? Putting together what the law says. A 10 to 12 passenger van, including the driver, is more than 9 seats, so it exceeds the maximum seating capacity for activity vehicles for the SUVs allowed under the non-bus rules in New Mexico. Also, the rules explicitly say that school-owned vehicles shall not be vans or minivans. That means a standard passenger van, 10 to 12 seats style, would not be permitted under the school activity vehicle rules. If you tried to use a 10 to 12 passenger van to transport students on a school bus route or similar, it probably would need to meet the full school bus standards, which many vans do not. Let's see here. In conclusion, based on the rules, 10 to 12 passenger vans are generally not allowed under the New Mexico law for the regular school-sponsored transportation of students because they exceed the 9-seat limit in the van minivan prohibition. So they may be allowed in very limited exceptional scenarios if they meet stricter safety standards and state approvals, but that would be an exception rather than the rule. So,
Well, on a short bus. Yeah, like,
We're back to the short bus.
I wonder if it has something to do
Oh,
with-
you weren't here for that meeting.
You missed the short bus argument, Chris.
I was on the short bus.
on the short
Did
list.
not.
That much.
And if you want me to tell you, so we have the option,
A short bus.
Any of them seem to.
I have to have a CDL.
yes.
Drive a short bus.
Anything with air brakes and Department of Education.
But the short bus wouldn't have air brakes. The Chevys don't. Like it's a Chevy van with a bus back.
You know a lot about short buses.
So we have the option and we have a.
A lot of these is those for route buses.
$96,000. I believe it was $96,000. That one is actually a 12
This
to
one-
14.
This one will hold up to 30.
Really?
If we pack them in two.
So there is
For short
another one.
kids.
Yeah, they're kids. So
I mean, I
there's
don't think
another
you
one
put
that we
30 in
looked
them, but
into, and
like
that one
18.
was.
But probably a basketball team or a volleyball team would fit.
What is Nimi's bus considered?
It's just a,
Those coaches or
Those
whatever
are vans, but they're independent.
in their college.
it's just like a Chevy cargo van with a bus back on it. I mean,
That looks like Nimi's.
And it says
that
it
looks like
means-
Nimi's bus.
I don't know what FMVSS and CMVSS mean, but it means an exceed.
And I sure hate to do that purchase, and then what if we can't use it?
I mean, I haven't seen a lot of short buses lately, but
Well,
And
all,
like Desiree said, that, I mean, drivers are the issue. We have an excess of activity drivers, but we don't have an excess.
So, Cynthia, are you still there? Probably not. So, we actually worked on and we want to send it out, soon. I'm thinking that we probably have some parents out there with a CDL driver, like Mr. Chris Philly. I remember I still have those notes, and
Yeah,
he did say that he was going to, yes, he said he was going to get his CDL license.
I have a CDL, I just don't have a bus endorsement.
Then it's just
That's just an endorsement.
an endorsement.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that we have some.
But even if you have a CDL and you have the endorsement, what would you have to go through for the district or the
Nothing.
state to be on it? Oh, nothing.
Yeah, you have to.
No,
a
you
drug
you
test
do.
and.
You do. So you have to have a drug test, you have to have CPR, you have to do CPR training.
You have to take the
First
student
aid.
For
safety.
students, yeah.
Mhm,
Background check.
Yes, so
We gotta do all that anyway, just get CDL.
What is the one that we have to take that is like the.
Defensive driving.
The activity,
Defensive
well,
driving.
but for activity drivers, like if the kids are in the back of your van and they're getting in a fight, what are you gonna do?
how do you
Answer
navigate?
correctly, not what you would do.
Yeah. There's an approved answer, not what you.
Give the book answer, not what you would do.
I do what Tuffy did.
No,
Off the bus.
Use the keys to the bus.
But
You
if
talk over a few
you
seats.
would like me, I can start looking into the short bus or the
On here it
medium
says you
size.
don't need a CDL with this bus, you just have to get a passenger endorsement. Which, that's just the test you take. But there's no CDL required.
For the tiny one? So that one was $96,000, the other one I believe was like 146. And I think the 146 would be the ideal one because that holds up to 22 passengers.
There's a dealer in, oh, that's it. No.
So we already talked to Tillery, and I know that Gary's not very happy with Tillery, but when it comes to buses, I think they're the ones that. What is the other bus company, Gary? Estes? Roberts.
Yeah, well,
There's districts that use those little short buses as their route buses. When I taught in Elida, that's all they had one big bus that went to Portales to gather those kids, but all the little buses that ran around like Kenna in that direction, they were all short buses. I think that's why our bus company is concerned that we would be in the market for short buses.
I knew about it.
What are we, I missed the meeting, obviously, what are we?
So we
Are we
actually-
replacing one? Or
We
I mean, I know buses
are,
have been a issue.
actually right now, at At that time, of course, we only had one bus. One of them was broken. Now it's already been fixed. But it always happens. It's always one or the other. So, and sometimes we have, okay, like this coming Friday. The cheerleaders, they want to go to Mescalero. And half of the time we can't even send them because we don't have transportation for them.
And both football teams didn't fit on the bus that we borrowed the last time we were in middle school and high school going at the same time. Does it cross country run Friday too?
So the purchase of a bus, it is part of our, it's in the budget.
Well, I say there's one more question, but that's like a nice one.
And of course, it's not gonna happen overnight. I mean, we have to order it and it'll probably be sometime in July before it's ready.
So do we get a discount if we have to wait till July?
Well, you know, I wish, but see what happens is that they have to build them.
So they don't just have them like lined up like cars?
Yeah, I wish.
They spoke about
Well, actually, there's one, I think it's over here on Cherokee, a short bus, and it has a big for sale sign on it.
$8,000.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw that on Facebook.
I was like, did you already guys see it?
I drove by it the other day and I was driving down there and I saw that. And Coda and some of his friends, Kate and some of them, they're like, oh, we could buy it and drive it to school. I'm like,
That would be hilarious.
Put in their ear.
oh, they're done planning it.
Okay.
There's 2 or 3 of them that they can get together and, you know, that could be what they drive to school in when they get their license.
And pool their money, their resources out.
Yeah, I mean, short bus would help them all stuff, and we have 10 or something kids going. Without them using full bus.
So do we not have a bus that could take the players, the coaches, the cheerleaders, or do they all have to ride separate?
So what happened, with the Cloudcroft one was, we have right around 50 players, plus the 4 coaches, plus the equipment.
Okay.
And then cheerleaders wanted to go to, that would be an extra bus, and then, what's cross country running that day?
Cross country was on.
Yeah, they were in Mescalero, so, and then if that's, if we don't have a volleyball game, that's the girls plus all the boys that are there, so I would say there's,
Probably about 75 people.
yeah, maybe 20 kids for cross country, plus the 50 that are doing football, you throw in the cheerleaders, the ones that actually don't do any of those sports, maybe 7 extra bodies, depending on what team is actually going first. Is it middle school or is it middle school and high school? Just,
So we roughly need 2 to 3 buses anyways.
yeah, that's worst case, like just all of a sudden now we have all these away games or whatever they might be.
They just try to
Yeah, I
do
would say
somewhere.
if it's.
Esports is probably gonna outgrow.
Well, January, February are kind of tough, depending on
With all the
games or
basketball.
whatever's going on. Basketball's always going.
We're getting started.
So you guys are going. End of February, we might actually see some track meets.
So what would your recommendation be? A short bus or a full? What would help out most? I mean, you see it more than any of us. So what would help out the most?
What's a full-size bus cost?
It'll probably be about a little bit over 200 now.
Get 2 shorts.
2 short buses.
Well, or the medium one,
And it goes back to what Desiree said, like, this is great, but who's gonna drive it? We have 2 drivers.
Chris,
But, as a short bus, you won't need a CDL.
if they don't have
If-
it. I think they do, we do need a CD
Yeah,
for the
that's-
short buses.
that's-
Even though the
It's under
manufacturer,
26,000 pounds.
but even the manufacturer might say that, but what is the
What is
PED?
Ted say?
What is,
In all their infinite wisdom and knowledge.
yeah,
It can overrule federal.
the state can overrule the government. haul it. You driving a tanker, a water hauler.
I mean, that's
You
been
gotta
said,
bid-
I don't-
yeah.
It's federal law.
Do it to me.
Yeah, I want to say, yeah,
I think the state
that's for forgiveness, not permission.
stricter.
Yeah, they can make it stricter. They just can't take away from federal. So federal could say, okay, 26,000, but the state could come in and say, okay, well, if you haul more than 10 people.
Well, then 16.
I mean, so-
I mean, I would see what Ed says about it, 'cause you don't have to have CDL for it, then.
I would ask maybe some of these districts that use short buses either as route buses or as, like, what kind of training and things do these people have?
There's no air brakes, there's no nothing, it's just a there.
Are they having to go to like bus driver school or whatever it is that bus drivers go to?
You have to go to bus driver school?
No, you just,
Oh,
But there is one of those things,
you
isn't
just
there?
pass the test and then do the written or.
No, like, there's like a bus driver, there used to be a bus driver school, because like, my grandma drove a bus, like, apparently my dad was a
So if
kid.
you're
They had to
more
go- they had to go to
16 or
quarters.
more Mexico pay, you need a CDL.
Well, it is.
That's including,
Let me ask,
including the
You
driver.
need a
Well,
P and an S endorsement required to drive any bus designed to transport 16 or more passengers to premium track.
Yeah, you just need your vehicle.
hello, Miss Hamill, how are you? I'm doing well. Hey, I have you on speaker, so don't say anything. And you are actually here, part of our board meeting, no? So we're having a board meeting. Hey, I have a quick question for you. So, I'm discussing with my board the issues with the van. And remember I told you that we wanted to get a van and then, anyways, that's out the door. But what about those mini buses, Elva? Do you need a CDL license to be able to drive those special ed buses? The tiny ones?
Yes,
You do?
you do. Those are Class C, but you still have to have a license to drive them.
Okay.
It's the license or just the endorsement?
The endorsement, license, or,
You probably have to get your passenger endorsement. That's not a CDL.
See, we have, if it has, the only way you can get a C class that you can drive one of those vans is if it doesn't have air brakes.
There you go.
They have to have hydraulic brakes.
Mhm.
But getting PED to approve that is something else, because they're trying to completely get away from that.
okay? Okay, so in essence, you do need
But you still need the endorsement, the passenger endorsement.
you still need the passenger endorsement, correct?
The passenger and the school bus.
Yeah.
So the training's really not that much more different, it's not that different.
Mhm.
If they will approve it, see, they're taking all those classes away, and they want everyone trained on air brakes.
Mhm.
The, I'm sorry, Mark's talking. The best thing is if you're actually looking at one, is to go with one of those 45 to 47 buses, because that would get they are a little bit shorter, but you can put the bucket seats and everything into one.
Okay, so what do you mean by 45 to 47?
The 45 is just a little bit shorter of a way.
Mhm.
When you start looking at 35 passengers,
Yes.
those buses, the suspension is so absolutely horrible, they complain. Everybody hates those buses. We have 4, and those are very equipping with wheelchair lifts. They're so rough. We have moved them, we've moved the seats out, and put air seats out. Does not help. It's just the suspension's tight, it makes the driver sick to drive it, and it's a very rough ride for the students.
Okay, so what about the 22 passenger?
Those are same thing, they're rough, and the regular school buses aren't coming in those anymore.
Mhm.
The 35 is gonna be the smallest you can get.
And that's the special ed bus?
That's like a special ed bus.
Okay. Okay,
The price really isn't any different.
Correct.
You can go with a 47, a 45 to 47, and it's gonna come in about the same price. But you can equip it Training really isn't that big of a deal. And, you know, we've had a couple just like get the training. They have changed things up this year. The training is much easier than it's been in the past. So, any of your activity, if you can get the drivers, we will gladly train them for you.
Okay, well, thank you. We have a couple of them in this room right now. Maybe 3. Okay, do y'all have any questions for Miss Elva? Thank you, Miss Elva.
You're welcome. I would highly recommend our choice for that size of a bus. I would go international.
Mhm.
We have a Thomas, we have an international, and we really like that international. Bluebird, they're really pricing everybody at that market.
Okay, I will definitely look into it. Thank you, ma'am.
If you have any questions, give us a call.
I sure will, thank you.
All right, have a good day.
Bye-bye, you too.
I would ask Ben, I mean, if they're gonna start outlawing the short bus, then I wouldn't bother with it, but
There's no benefit of a short bus if we just get a bigger one for a little more, to me. I mean, and we still have the same problem with drivers, right?
you know what I'm
Yes.
So
saying?
just get a bigger bus and just, you know,
Find a driver.
find drivers instead of having a little bus. So it doesn't benefit you at all.
I'll go get my endorsements next week.
Thank you. Hey, one more.
And for a school bus, you have to get a commercial license.
I already have it. I've got doubles, triple, I've got everything except for my passenger, because, you know, I wasn't gonna get it.
And you go through that and take the test.
Well, I'm open to suggestions, whatever you want me to do.
I got a cattle pot. I can drive that. I got a Class C, so.
I don't know, I just, to me, looking for drivers is gonna be the right thing. Especially if you're a car CEO.
Really, and it's only getting harder.
And it is getting harder, and not to put anybody down, but the drivers that we currently have are probably soon going to retire.
For sure.
And we definitely need to look for people. So that's why, you know, Cynthia and she helped me create, because she's really good about, you know, with technology. So we created a flyer, we'll put it out there and see who we can get. And I mean, I'm sure that there's parents out there that could possibly help us out.
Is the compensation gonna be worth it for them?
You don't need to do it for the compensation if you're gonna do it.
Yeah, in this
Well,
area,
You're not gonna
I'm just
pay-
saying.
I mean, to go out, I mean, the school could, let's say you're almost a good CDO, the school could pay for a CDO. But you're not like gonna pay what a truck driver makes.
Well, obviously.
No, but you know what, it's really not too bad. I mean, okay, I now believe it's like $22 an hour. That's right now. I mean, potentially it could take an increase.
Is that the entire time they're gone? So
That's the
Copper-
entire time.
At Copper, we were there
For 2 days?
for a while.
Yes,
Free
Let's
overtime?
leave here, get back here.
exactly. So that they get paid from the time that they leave here until the time that
Somebody
they
trip their bus or
get back.
whatever.
Yes. And sometimes it's a good,
I would have reached out to
Yeah. excuse me,
Elva and Mark, can they not provide, do they not have any drivers that would want
they have a hard time too.
just keep
So we actually
students?
share a couple of drivers with them. And, you know, we have 2 drivers that they drive for us, but then they also drive a route. So it's really difficult. And then when we use the drivers, then Ella has to drive herself, because she has to do the route.
I mean, to me, if it, drivers gonna do the thing, so. But if PD's gonna outlaw short buses, then I guess.
but PD could change their decision next year.
Well,
Lots of things could
outlaw,
change
they're
next
just
year.
not- Make you a CDO. doesn't give you any benefit to have a smaller one than it does just there, maybe.
I think the van would be ideal, but
Right.
I don't wanna lose money either.
I think the only appeal of having a small one, it would be less intimidating for somebody who was new to driving. Students would maybe be less intimidated driving one of the smaller buses than if we turn them loose and say, okay, have at it with this giant.
Well, for the
piece.
times where the children want to go to
Unless you're
Yeah.
advanced.
Or if they would want to go to Cloud Cross,
12,
12:15 probably.
so I'll get
But
that.
okay, so Blackcroft was probably no go just because we had cross country going on.
And they were playing volleyball somewhere, weren't they?
No, that's probably. 7 varsity, and then if we let the middle school go, like another 10. So about
Like when you go to a tournament for basketball, how many you take?
It just depends on the year. Anywhere from 14 full roster plus the 2 coaches,
Plus the
plus
driver.
probably 2 managers. Versus, maybe this year it's 10 to 11 kids going and maybe a manager or 2 coaches. It just depends on the year.
So you wouldn't need a full bus.
Well, and even FFA, like on average during judging season, the last probably 5 years, we've traveled, or we've
State, it's been
20 or less.
Yeah.
I think one year we took 7, one year we took 14,
5 years, it's been about 15.
15, 16.
Gary, what do you think?
I think we ought to just go ahead and get the regular size bus.
Seems to be less heavy.
I'll say if we get that regular size bus, then there's always 2. And hopefully, like if one goes down, we'll have 2. and we'll
Normal
just-
size buses.
Normal size buses, so we're not.
Yeah.
Can we do a bus and an excursion and then there's more drivers?
I'd agree. I mean, if we are gonna have to get a CDL, I mean, you might as well go with the regular bus, because we're not saving anything.
I'll look at the prices of the regular bus. I know that they are kind of high.
Well, if we buy a 2024, that's new. There has to be some brand new ones sitting around somewhere.
2023 is there new?
Yeah.
All right, superintendent report.
Okay, the first thing is, I wanted to give you a copy. As you know, we are going for a GEO bond, and the amount is $1,800,000 again. Now, this is not going to be a tax rate increase, so basically, this flyer here, we're encouraging people to go vote. It has not been, we haven't sent it out yet. I wanted you to look at it and see if I want you to look at this and see if you think we'll just send it out and start advertising. I mean, it's not gonna cost the taxpayers anymore. There's not gonna be an increase, so I'm just hoping that people will be able to vote. Now, the current and what we need, of course, this will go towards the new school design project, continue to pay for that, the new school construction phase, and then if we do build the FFA ag barn, which will be, a portion, probably about $100,000 for that. And we do have on the second page or third page here, some of the prior projects funded with GEO bonds. So we have like the concession stand and then the bathrooms at the football field, the roof at the concession stand, replacement of tile, and this was at all the schools, replacement of the track and field, although that hasn't been done. Hopefully by the time that this is out, then it will be done. The soft landing at the elementary playground, replace the elementary turf, replace gym floors, both gyms, and then we installed a ventilation system in the FFA. There's FA. Welding shop, we're missing an F there.
My fault.
Yeah, you're fucked. And then replace doors, gates, fencing. So those are just some of the things that we did with the current, GEO bonds. And there's just some information about the board here. There's, on the other side, there's ballot questions. What is a general bond? and then who may vote, where do they vote, and, early voting starts October the 7th. And then if they have any information, they can contact me. And I sure like to start promoting this and be able to send this out. And if you want me to make any changes, other than just change the FFA here. And that way,
I think it looks good.
I would probably add just the date they're gonna get the
community
joint
center. And where do you want that?
Because I think you said it was listing where the early votes and stuff,
So
but
early
there is
voting,
actually
okay,
a
so
date
if you
where
look at the first page, it says Tuesday, November 4th, 2025, and that will be a no school day, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Do you want me to write
there, we
here?
can do the Joy Center, just so.
Yes.
Because they do early voting, they're like usually 2 weeks
That's what I said, there is a date online, I mean, I know it says to look online, but.
Right, so I can just write
If
here,
it's just there.
Hagerman Joy Center, you said?
Yes, ma'am.
And I think on your, where you said you were gonna fix your typo for it says FFA, I think it should really be ag because it's not the organization's shop, it's the ag department's shop.
So just take out the
And I would
FFA,
just put like welding shop. I mean,
just add,
ag or welding shop by itself, I guess would be.
oh, the
more
install
accurate.
a ventilation system in the ag
Mhm.
welding shop, okay. Anything else that you think I need to change?
I wonder if our voters would respond more favorably, like track and field, like if we put pending or something, so they know that, because they're gonna say, well, we've never done that,
So
but
parentheses pending,
pending or in progress
In
or
progress.
contracted or, just so it looks like we're
Work in
not trying to
progress.
pull the wool over
Yeah.
people's eyes.
okay. Anything else? I think everything else that we have here, we've done. It's been completed. Other than the replacement of the track. We're doing I mean, I could
Under
put more, but
contract or whatever.
I didn't have enough space here. It's kind of difficult.
Yeah, no, understand.
Are you guys okay with it? So then I will correct the typos and then I'll post it. And then I'm gonna send it out to just a hard copy to all the families. Probably, maybe next week or so. Okay? Alrighty, I gave you a copy of, so next week on the 22nd, September 22nd, that's Monday from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. We are having the NMSBA regional meeting that will be in Carlsbad. So this one here it's this page, it has information as to where it's supposed to be. And I already have confirmation from most of you, the majority. And then they will be feeding you. Now I am taking the Suburban, if anybody wants to go with me, or if you want to take your own vehicle, or if you'd like to request a vehicle here from the school.
Take a bus.
A special ed bus?
Yeah,
A special ed bus? Okay.
Bobcat license. You're driving.
Well, you know what, we could, why not?
You can pull me over.
And we can find a driver. And so that would be next Monday. I also attached the agenda just for your reference. And then another thing, so the 2025 annual convention, or also NMSBA, this is going to be December the 4th through the 6th. If you could please let me know if you'll be attending that one. That one will be at the Embassy Suites in Albuquerque. And again, it is December the 4th through the 6th. And I will remind you again next month, but as soon as, the hotel notification comes out, I like to make the reservation. So if you let me know if you do plan on attending that one.
I won't be able to attend that.
You will?
No.
No? Okay. Jennifer, you usually do.
I should be able to, but I'll think about it too for sure.
When is that one?
This one is December,
Oh, the December one?
the December one, December 4th through the 6th.
I won't get that one.
You won't?
No.
Dusty?
I will. I was just looking. I'll be off. So.
Trevor?
I don't even know what's going on the rest of my week. Way too far in advance. I couldn't tell you.
Okay, I will ask you again later on, especially when the hotel rooms come out. And that way, I mean, it's so convenient to stay there at
Yes.
the place where the convention
Yeah,
is.
as long as the fire alarms don't go off all night.
Or there's an actual fire in there, Compass Reyes.
Well,
Yes.
But
Remember we were evacuated?
there was a real fire. It was,
Yes.
the fire trucks came and everything.
At 11 o'clock, my room fire alarm went off for an hour.
I think we stayed there.
And nobody came. Nobody checked on me.
Once.
And you just stayed there.
That's all right.
You stayed in the room?
No.
Okay, and then, so that would be December the 4th through the 6th, and I just, we are having, some enrichment programs, so I just want to give you an update. The guitar lessons are going very well. We currently have about 15 students that are enrolled. When I talked to the instructor, I told him that my expectation was for the kids to be able to perform during the Christmas program in, at least a couple of songs, and then again during the Cinco de Mayo Spring Festival. And I told him, I said, just 2 songs would be, more than enough. And then he assured me that the students would be prepared to play 10 songs. I'm like, okay, they're not the only ones performing, but I'm like, okay, not a problem. So we're looking forward to, his, him showcasing and their progress. And the kids are really excited about it. I mean, they're little and they're doing a good job. And then we're also adding the, dances, folklore dances, which is another way that we are engaging students. So that should be starting pretty soon. We already have like 16 kids from the elementary that are enrolled, and they want to take part of this. So again, we will just continue to showcase these both of these programs and give the students opportunities to shine outside of the classroom. And we will also be starting the and community homeschools will be paying for this. So once again, we are going to open up the weight room for the community. And so that will be open for 2 hours each day and for 2 or 3 days. So that will be starting probably next week already. And then we will also open up the computer lab. And that would also be part of community schools. So the computer lab is just for students and parents, to come in, and if they need to use the computers, if they need a print, then there's a fee for that. And last year, we only had 1 or 2 people that would come in. So I'm hoping that, we'll just be able to promote this and more people will be able to come to this. I have nothing else. I stand for questions.
I have a question. I'm not sure if it's for you, A-Rod, but one of the kids brought up, I guess we're offering weightlifting as a class, but we're not offering it as a sport yet. Or I know some of the 9th graders, a few of the 8th graders mentioned, and I know we talked about it, I believe it was last year, about powerlifting and stuff. Do we have any update, or I didn't understand it's being offered as a class, but it's not a sport, or?
It could be a sport, but it is kind of during the busy time. Then you have to find coaches, and then if we were to do it and pursue it, I'd have to write a proposal, present to Ms. Reyes, present to you guys.
But the class, is it like a PE credit?
It's a PE credit.
Okay, I see what it is,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's all it is right now, just a PE course.
I think it's mostly for juniors and seniors. It's not, the underclassmen can still take regular PE.
Yes.
Just the way it lined up in the schedule, the seniors that are still on campus after lunch needed something else to do.
Yeah, one of the 9th graders was like, well, I think the seniors took all the slots because we didn't get to pick first. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking
It would have never worked out for them anyways.
Any other questions?
That's all I've heard from the 9th and 10th graders. Well, the juniors and seniors took all the good classes.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be the juniors and
I've got one question. It might be more for Miss Jolene. The status of the P cards?
It's gone nowhere. I've got to email all 3 of those guys and see. I'm not sure who did on the response. I haven't heard back from when I sent them the audit, so maybe they thought, no way. I don't know.
Or we just do like prepaid Amazon gift cards.
Oh, right.
Prepaid debit
we're not
cards.
allowed to buy gift cards. That's against the rules.
Prepaid debit cards.
It is, it's one point.
But it will
I think
be
the problem
done.
with that is you have a cash option.
Just don't give them the pin. Rechargeable debit card. Pretty much what a P card is, isn't it?
Kind of.
Well, for security.
A lot more secure.
Just got the money.
Any other questions? Ms. Reyes or anyone? Alright, just need a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.